I wonder who wrote the book of love? Tell me, who wrote the book of love?
Today on Bible Wonders, we're continuing on this whole 7 names of God concept as we wonder today actually about the 5th name that's on the list of names that the Jews teach, or the 7 names of God that if they were to misspell in the Torah when they were doing their scrolls, they would be lashed. And so I figure these are pretty significant names. And today's name is the one that we first see in Scripture. It's Elohim. And, you know, in the beginning, that whole idea of Bereshit that you'll hear the Jews speak of quite often, the first, letters of the Torah are very significant to them. But in the beginning, God, and this particular God, that's the one that is Elohim. Now, Elohim is in the Old Testament 2,616 times. So it's certainly the second most popular name of the 7 names that they list there. But the first most popular name would be Jehovah, it's listed 6,510 times, but you don't actually get a chance to meet Jehovah in the Old Testament until Genesis chapter 2, and you'll find that that's usually translated Lord. So Elohim is quite often what's translated God, and in this particular case, that's what we're seeing, certainly in Genesis chapter 1. And the thing that I can't help but ponder, when you look at the letters of Elohim, we've talked about El because it's the beginning of the word El itself, which we talked about, and Elah, like we talked about yesterday, and we're going to get to Eloi tomorrow, but today we're in Elohim, so it's very similar the way that they're spelled because they all have that aleph, and then the lamed, which again is this whole idea of the aleph meaning the father sort of figure plus, God's hand reaching down to man's hand reaching up, then to this lamed, which is the L sound that you're hearing in El, which is love and learning and very much shepherding. And so El just by itself is very much a picture of a shepherd. Now we're going to add today this idea of him. Well, the hey we talked about so much yesterday that's at the end of the other word it's this absolutely beautiful letter that means expression. And then the im sound is actually the word for sea. Sea is in like ocean. So, it's very interesting when, in the beginning, God, with that whole Bereshit, Elohim, what's going to happen now is he's going to make light, then he's going to separate the light, and then it's going to be hovering over the waters, and he's going to separate the waters. And so I just marvel at the whole concept that God himself, in the I am statements that Jesus made in the book of John, right? I am the light. And so here he separates light, night into darkness, but he also sets the sun over the day and the moon over the night. And similarly with the waters, which very much always points to Jesus, with this mem that's at the end of Elohim, is he separates first the firmament, right? So this idea of heaven, which we talked about a couple episodes ago about heaven being Shemaim. Well, there's that I'm sound in the end. And so there's this sort of sea that's above the earth. When you look up, it's heaven, it's blue, and you taste it like you would a name every single time you breathe. But then there's also the sea that's on the land, and he separates it again because he separates when he puts the dry land in, the waters are separated once again. So it's fascinating to me that the light is separated twice, and the waters are separated twice. And again, this is all being done by Elohim, which, as we talked about in the song that begins the show, who wrote the book of love, nothing was made that wasn't made by him, which is a picture of Christ. So the beautiful thing I note here is that what we have is a very elemental, it's very elementary what we're discussing here, because God is made of these elements. The aleph, when you look at the word light, is an aleph and a mem and a resh. And so the very letters that are spelling out God in different ways are these same letters that are the elements. And here we see him again in Elohim being the sea or the waters that end up getting separated again. It's elementary, but it's very, very amazing to me that God himself is these elements, again, speaking to what we talked about a number of episodes again, that the most real thing in the universe, true reality, is God himself. There is nothing more real. Although you can't see him, he is in every single element. And later, when we get to Genesis 2, we're going to start to hear about the Lord Elohim, or Jehovah Elohim. And so, it's a picture when, God forms Adam, and when he takes the rib and makes Eve, they're always saying Jehovah Elohim when it comes to that particular thing. But in this part of the Torah, very wonderfully, we just see that it's Elohim himself that is the one that's separating the waters, the one that the Spirit of God is hovering over the waters. These are the things that have to do with this idea of the sea. And when you think about it, Jesus was very clear. He's the living water, the woman at the well. And so how beautiful can it be, and something to ponder, that one of the names of God here in Elohim is this whole God that is expressed through the ocean or through the seas. And I don't know like you, but you can go to the ocean anytime you want to and just watch the people mesmerized at what's going on as they stare into the seas, the waves crashing, and the whole scene is truly something that we all wonder about. And if you don't see God there, it's kind of like you can taste God when you look at the ocean. Something to wonder about. Elohim today on Bible Wonders.
I wonder who wrote the book of life.